In this bulletin, Trump slaps more tariffs on Chinese-made printing consumables heading for the United States. Hello, I'm David Gibbons and thanks for joining me. For more than a year, news about an end to the trade war between the United States and China has fluctuated weekly, often daily. Some days it appears a resolution will be made, but the next day it seems totally impossible. China is the largest export economy in the world, and the US is China's largest export market. While campaigning for the presidential election in 2016, Trump repeatedly accused China of unfair trading and intellectual property theft. He also believes he can win a trade war using tariffs because the USA has a stronger economy. But observers say consumers and producers in both countries are suffering. Now Trump says he will impose a 10% tariff on $300 billion worth of Chinese-made products starting on September 1, with the real possibility it will increase to 25%. Now this is the fourth time tariffs have been introduced, and now all Chinese-made printing consumables and components are affected. Or are they? Merritt Blakesley has been practicing in international law and international trade regulations in the United States since 1991. Merritt Blakesley joins us now from the East Coast of the United States. Greetings, Merritt. Trump has targeted China with a new round of tariffs. How does this affect printing equipment supplies and the ready-for-use supplies and component parts that can be assembled into cartridges within the United States?
Well, David, greetings. As you mentioned, this will be, if implemented, the fourth round of tariffs on imports into the United States from China. In the first three rounds, some but not all printer cartridges and components were subject to a 25% ad valorem tariff. In those three previous rounds, the items that were covered by the tariff are cartridges and components for fax machines, cartridges and components for copying machines, and cartridges but not components for printers only. The two items that were not covered by the first three rounds are components for cartridges for printer-only machines and cartridges and components for universal machines, that is, machines that can perform at least two functions from among faxing, printing, and copying. So, I think there are several points that need to be made about this new round of tariffs. The first is that unlike the previous round, they will be at the 10% level rather than at the 25% level if they are ultimately implemented. Last week, the U.S. negotiating team, headed by the United States Trade Representative, was in China trying to make progress on the trade talks with China. And those talks went nowhere. Representative Ambassador Lighthizer came back and reported to the president on the lack of progress, and the president, against the advice of his senior advisors, decided to implement this new round of tariffs at the 10% level on essentially all goods from China that are not presently subject to a tariff. The reason for making this point is that this is clearly a negotiating ploy, and the new tariffs don't take effect until September 1st, and a good deal could happen in the U.S.-China trade relationship before then. Therefore, there's no absolute certainty that they will take effect. Second, the new tariffs are based on a long list of individual tariff line items. And that list is still under review by USTR. And it is possible, not highly likely, but at least possible, that certain items could be removed from that list before the tariffs go into effect. And it's at least conceivable that the items that I've referred to, the cartridge and component items, could be removed from that list. I think that's unlikely, but it's at least possible. What is covered and what is not covered and at what level is, as I've tried to describe at a high level, is quite technical. And so I would ask, David, that as you post our conversation, you post along with it the article that I've written describing the effect of the first 3 rounds of tariffs on printing consumables, and then my update to that I wrote last week that explains in more detail than today the modifications that will be made, that could be made on September 1st.
Merritt Blakesley, thanks for joining me today. And for all the latest office and imaging supplies updates, go to our website, rtmworld.com, or grab a copy of our magazine published in English, Spanish, Chinese, Russian, and Arabic. Thanks for keeping in touch. I'm David Gibbons.